Hey guys, I know you guys are probably soaring the internet looking for ways to make money, on the internet and try to maximize the potential of everything that you're doing every day and, just try to make as much money as you can. I remember that was my mindset, from as early as I can remember, still to this day, where it's just every day pretty much we are looking to make as much money as we can, doing pretty much anything we can to get there. So I want to help you guys out a little bit, and I kind of want to tell you guys about some businesses that I did growing up to kind of get me where I am today, and businesses that would easily get you in where I've gotten to. Just each of these can get you to 50K, I believe, if you push them hard enough, depending on, your market and everything like that. I will definitely go ahead and break down how each of them will work, depending on, kind of where you're at in your life, and, just try to help you guys as much as possible. So today we'll be running through businesses that I've tried pretty much my entire life, and we'll just go through how each of them worked, what each of them taught me, and how you guys can go ahead and kind of replicate the same results that I got. So let's hop right into it. This will be a two-part series, so please stay tuned for part two. We will have five businesses in this video for you guys to go ahead and try out and tackle and understand and dissect. And then, we'll have another video where it'll have another five businesses that I went ahead and tried in my later years, high school, college, after college, things like that, where we can kind of just see the potential kind of flowing and just kind of more modern day businesses and what you guys can do, probably once you get into your teens and your 20s. So let's hop into it. So the first business I did, you guys hear a lot from aspiring entrepreneurs, and it's just selling candy. Selling candy is one of those things I feel like everyone did as a kid. Because of this, I've always hated when people say that they sold candy, but honestly, it's what I did. I really just hate when people say this because I feel like everyone has done this, but not everyone has become or even wants to become an entrepreneur. I'd say it's more, what you take away from it rather than what you did. So I started selling candy in the first grade when my new bus stop was right in front of the candy store, and kids would yell, can you get me something? Questions turned to placed orders, and those turned into fulfilled orders. I was charging 50% markup because no one knew prices, and the prices were still super cheap to sugar needy kids. I'd get an airhead for 25 cents, flip it for 50 cents, and you do the same thing with soda, you do the same thing with lollipops and 10-cent candies. Take a 10-cent candy, you flip it for 25 cents. I never wanted to take a loss or even break even. Everything I sold was about making a profit. So much so, I had a rule at 6 years old that anyone who didn't pay up would never be able to do business with me again. And this is what I was talking about by it's not what you do, it's what you take. So early on, by the time I was 6, I was in first grade. I remembered, anyone who didn't pay me on that bus bright and early, and if you asked for a candy day before, anything like that, then that was it. I didn't waste my time. I fired customers. I didn't allow them to fire me. And that's rule number one when learning some business tricks. Let's hop into number two, which is actually taking in trash. So my second hustle came, some years later, and actually the boss put me on. There was a lady across the street who'd work until, regular 5 p.m. and hated seeing that she was the only lady on her street who had her trash cans out that late. So she approaches me and she asks if I want to make an easy $20 a month every single month. I was 8 years old, and at the time, $20 felt like $2,000. I couldn't believe she even offered me 20. She asked if I can, just please bring her cans to the back to the side of her house. every week. That's $5 a week for literally 30 seconds of work on my way from school. Sign me up. This job didn't last long because the lady was rather old and ended up just completely retiring after the summer ended. But the cut after just getting 3 months straight made me even more hungry to make high value dollars super easy. So, rule number two, or business number two, just kind of taught me my self value a little bit. It was my first peek into realizing that, minimum wage or, these little things probably aren't the best thing for me. You know, we want to work with high ticket clients. We want to work with, high ticket products, anything that's going on. So we can kind of do as little work as possible to earn, hours of income at a less wage. So that was just my first rule, and that came at 8 years old. Number three is going to be the bottle return. So after getting the taste of a consistent dollar, I was trying to do whatever I can to keep the dollars coming in. And what was next? It was returning the bottles that my mom and my stepdad were drinking. We always, had weekend events at my house, and that usually meant that everyone ended up having a drink or two. Every time it seemed to be about, the $20 mark, which was easy money considering I wasn't the one purchasing the bottles. I love this hustle, but I never got around to stealing other people's cans or bottles because that just didn't sit right with me. Honestly, I just didn't need to, and so I didn't. No one in my house ever wanted to recycle the bottles, so I never even had to split my profit with anyone. It was honestly a reward for me just kind of cleaning up the house and taking the bottles out to just keep the money. I felt that no one knew the drive I had, and doing things like this just simply kept me going. Because when I would tell people, hey, this is what I do to, kind of make a little bit of money, you're going to school at this point. I'm pretty much uh, late elementary, early middle school, and that's kind of not the cool thing to tell people. That's how you make your money, or just make money. Period. Oh, I bring bottles back. Doesn't really work. So the number four thing is actually when we start kind of peeking into our later years of middle school, kind of going into high school, and just talking about thrifting. Thrifting in high school was by far my favorite business of all time. It's something I wish I can continue to do, but since moving to Portland, Oregon, all I've experienced are, high thrift prices, teams of 6 to 8 yelling, "Hey, get the band tees." Things like that just absolutely ruined the art of thrifting for me, and it ruined the business in general. Um, to me, it never started as a business, which is kind of where I get a little teed off and, people hopping into it just for a business. It started as me just buying dope things and people wanted to cop them off of me. I was 15. I had no idea what shirt was what and things of, that nature. I figured if I got it for $3 and could flip it for $20, which, I would pay for the whole thrift trip easily. I just wanted to make enough money to get my money back, essentially getting all the clothes I had for free. This was one of those businesses where you'll hear people say, it may not make the most money, but it's my baby. Every few months, I'll check the thrift out, and every time so far, I've been completely let down just by those teams or just by, like I said, going into a thrift and kind of seeing a $15 sweater is not really the most intriguing thing to go. I really love the old prices back in high school in Connecticut where it was just like, you could find Coogee sweaters $10. You could find, Nike things with tags on them for $10, $15, or you could find regular T-shirts for $3. Now it's really hard to find a T-shirt for less than $7 to $8, and that's for your most basic non-vintage tee, and then everything else is just gonna be able to scale accordingly. So the last business that we'll talk about today, is kind of one that I peeked into the end of freshman year, even a little bit of sophomore year. And, this was something that it was my fastest booming business. And, we'll talk about tie dyeing. This was honestly the first business that I took super seriously, and I tried to milk every dollar out of. It started by making a t-shirt and a onesie for a baby shower. It was a matching set that my sister wanted, and I got it done. That put me on the map in the summer of 2014, and I ran with it. I was charging $5 when you bring me the item. I had learned in my business class that sometimes $10 can be too high for teens and impulse buyers. So I had also learned that anything in between 5 and 10 looks a little weird and it converts less. So if you have someone, get something for $7.99, you'll probably end up getting 5 people to buy that, where you might get 12 people to buy at $5, or you might get 5 people to buy at $10. It's just a little weird just for the mental to kind of comprehend. The first week we did 6 tees, and I knew immediately it was a moneymaker. I immediately upgraded my dyes from Walmart dyes because some other people had tried to replicate the process. However, no one could replicate the quality. To this day, the t-shirts that I've done with the higher quality dye, the ones I own, the ones I've sold, they all honestly look super great. And if you guys want, comment down below. I could definitely try to throw some pictures up in the next video, and kind of see how you guys are feeling with those. um However, the higher quality kept the money coming in, and before I had known it, I made $1,000 just from tie dyeing shirts that I didn't have to buy anything but the dye. I didn't have to buy shirts. I didn't have to buy socks. I didn't have to buy hats. I didn't have to buy those things because people simply brought them to me, and I just did a service for them. I didn't have to hold any inventory really. Next I had pretty much built a well-known brand and started to make pre-made, tie-dyes and selling them on my own. So, anyone who maybe left a t-shirt behind, or maybe I had some extra t-shirts and I just wanted to, kind of freestyle a design, anything like that, I went ahead and made some extra money off of that. And then as the business went ahead and grew, we started creating hats, and I did pre-orders for hats, and we sold out in a matter of a day. And I couldn't believe how much this was rolling. But I just realized that people weren't getting into it anymore. As the end of, sophomore year came to a close, it's about 2015 now. Tie dye started phasing out, and people were into other things, and the business started to fade out. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the first 5 businesses that I did growing up. I hope this gives you, the ability to make money without really having to make a Shopify store, or feel like you need to do this or that online. You guys can really still go out there, still make bread without having to utilize other people so much. This is really the first time where I'm building a business that has to do with a mass audience. So, I'm still learning everything myself, but I know that that's almost number one for a bunch of people, is they feel like I have to do a certain amount of sales, or I have to do that, this or that. You guys can honestly just, create a service and have other people use that service, have people bring money to you, or just do simple things like bringing back the cans and bottles, and having that kind of be inspiration for building a business that doesn't have to do with anything other than you going out and grabbing things, getting it done, like investing. That's something that I really want to get into. Big time investing, giving people $10,000, $25,000, having that come back as 100 bands, 150 bands. That's something that I really feel like I'm going to make most of my money off of. So find your lane and capitalize off of it. Don't feel like you have to create an Instagram page with 500,000 followers to make $1 million. You don't have to do that. You guys can just focus on something. Focus on just being a bag collector, get into the money, and everything else will fall into place. But the want, the manifestation, everything behind that has to come first. And then, utilizing these ideas, and putting that motivation behind these ideas will get you where you want to go. So I know this video is a lot different from what I do as far as, helping you guys build credit, helping you guys understand what investing is and things like that. But I really want to make a video um outlining real money, outlining how you guys can get to the bag for real and different ideas to, help people. Like I said, I started some of these things at 6 years old. So helping people, helping your kids, helping your little siblings, anything like that. Show them that, tell them that, get that installed into them now, and then kind of helping you all the way up through high school and college with the next business ideas I'm having, in the next video. Things that I'm doing to this day, things that I did in college, and kind of help you guys understand what's going on. So if this was a really good video, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below. This is definitely my longest video by far, but there's so much great content in here, and I'm super ready to give you guys part two. Remember to stay tuned and have a good one.